Greetings, community, and welcome to NCBD Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 4/30/2025. And here we are once again, and it's great to be alive. I appreciate everyone that, catch me on the rewind. And those of us that maybe even click on that like and subscribe, descriptions below. I do greatly appreciate you. And for those of you that cruise on in on the live, let's take a moment and say hi. Hey, Christina, how you doing? Appreciate you hanging out and dance with me. There is a list, and it's, mediocre in size, but somewhat extensive in its description. Let's go ahead and get right into it and start it off with Marvel. Marvel's going to give us Doom Academy issue number 3. The big thing about this is Zoe. Zoe is dealing with her essentially childhood monsters and dealing with them in a way that, well, it's affecting everyone else within the actual core group. The interesting thing is these kids got sucked into, which a couple other groups did too, and we'll be talked about in a moment, into being kind of like Doom's lackeys. He is setting up individuals in certain positions to go ahead and take the weight when he needs to go ahead and break away and do other things, which is overall goal. We all know it's just to basically rule all. So Doom Academy has been an interesting addition to this whole Doom saga that we've been going through, and it's been nothing short of really good. I've been enjoying it, and anytime and anything I can get from the Strange Academy group, I thoroughly enjoy and anticipate. So again, Doom Academy issue number 3 coming out to you and me on 4/30/2025. Let's move on from that and talk about Doom Division issue number 2. Issue number 1 was a pretty good introduction to what we're going to get in this mini series. That is also another part of the addition and side tie-in to the overall main storyline of Doom, which is a 9-issue series. So this tie-in is also something I've been enjoying. What we're getting is not only a few new characters that were given to us and in its edition in the first issue that we received, which were, I think it was like as many as 3 characters that we got. But this edition is directly tying into and augmenting the team that we already have in the Tiger division. So it's kind of a new division under Doom. I don't know. I thought it was really cool, and I really been enjoying what was and is the first introduction and leading into issue number 2, which is coming out to you and me tomorrow. Moving on from Doom Division, issue number 2, let's talk about Godzilla versus America. LA, issue number 1. Now, this whole Godzilla versus America, he's making his rounds around various cities and destroying all. This is also a setup for what we're going to be receiving when it comes to summer, where we're going to get, well, Godzilla destroys the Marvel Universe. A lot of introduction into the whole Marvel lore into the main storyline of the Marvel Universe, and this just further entrenches itself into that lore. So I really been not only enjoying it, but hopefully, if everything works out tomorrow, I'm not only going to get this book, but hopefully sign. We'll talk about a little bit more of that on my This Week's Signed Books show, hopefully coming to you soon. Moving on from Godzilla versus America, LA, issue number 1, which comes out to you and to me tomorrow on 4/30. Let's talk about Hell Hunters, issue number 5, which is the conclusion to this most awesome miniseries, which is the final battle of Nazis and the Undead Legion. And this whole, how should I say, we get some new characters, we're getting some old characters, but the old characters are actually new characters, have been introduced in a way that is kind of cool. Also, it allows these introductions to these individuals in a past tense to be able to come into a future tense storyline that we're supposed to be receiving. And I think it's supposed to be in August. I'm not supposed to know about this. You're not supposed to know about this, but you heard it here first. So what we're getting on this Hell Hunters issue number 5 is not only a conclusion, but I think, in my opinion, from my understanding, a setup that we're going to get towards the end of the summer. Digging it, can't wait, look forward to reading it. Moving out from Hell Hunters, issue number 5, let's talk about Kid Juggernaut. Issue number 1. This is actually a collection of Marvel Voices, issue number 1, Infinity Digital Comic. that was released some time ago. This grabs all those collections from issue 1 through 6 that was digitally released only, and it puts everything together for us to read not only in a floppy context, but it also allows us to go ahead and get a full understanding of the origin of this character. Kid Juggernaut was introduced in the character. I can't remember what it was right now at the moment. Not too long ago, and now here we are going to get a full and encompassing understanding of what this character is all about. I'm looking forward to not only getting my hands on this thing, but see what this character is. Supposedly, it's actually getting its power from the. It's really kind of a throwback, and it's also paying homage to the original character, but reintroducing the character with a whole new character, giving us more characters of the same character. Kind of redundant. I don't mind. I mean, let's check it out and see what it is before we start getting too judgy. So again, Kid Juggernaut, issue number 1 coming out on 4/30/2025. Let's move out from that and talk about the last installment given to us by the Marvel Publishing Group, which is Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 16, where we're going to get a little bit of a Mysterio background. We're going to get a little bit of origin and understanding of Mysterio, and maybe he's not quite all that we're understanding him to be. So this is the 1 in 25. I like the reverse version angle, the homage that it's paying tribute to. So I couldn't help myself. So got it. And I'm looking forward to reading it. So hey, you know what? Ultimate Spider-Man has not only been a solid run, but it's actually, in my opinion, been a strong pillar to the setup that we're supposed to get in this Ultimate Universe. Just saying. Let's move out from the Marvel Group and let's cruise over to the Boom Studios. They're going to give us Grimm issue number 22. And here we are. Our main character is falling in love. Damn it. And she's not only have to contend to possibly falling in love, but she's contending with the fact that she's trying to maintain and regain her power over the dead and her powers, and understanding what all this encompasses, her understanding of the mandates, the obligations, and how to best bestow upon them, upon the earth, to regain some type of semblance of how things are supposed to go on again. People weren't dying and they were trying to correct that. People were going on forever. There's been a whole mess. And this inner fighting of who's going to be the next main Grim Reaper is only further exacerbating the problem that this individual is trying to find her own place. Not only is the undead individual is supposed to rule all, but an individual that is trying to still contend with the fact that she's dead. Falling in love, I don't think this really fits well in the plan, but here we are. Here we be. And that's where we're going to get from Boom. And it's been one of my most favorite ongoing series from Boom Studios, this Grimm. At issue number 22, it's been awesome. The only problem is it hasn't been as regular as I do wish it to be. But here we are almost 3 years later, and it's still one of my most favorites. Let's move out from Boom and let's talk over at the Dynamite, because Dynamite's going to give me a book that almost made my most anticipated reads, which is The Wacky Racers. This is a book that takes me back not only to my childhood, but it's some insane stuff that used to go on with some really characters that succeeded beyond these wacky racers and became something more than that as Saturday morning cartoons. We have Dick Dastardly. We have Penelope Pitstop. We had, at one point, if I recall, even the Batmobile made its appearance. We had Scooby-Doo. We had so many characters that made their appearances on this show that used to be a cartoon and at one point an early comic book, that once we get this, even this one shot, that's enough for me at this one point. I hope it becomes a regular ongoing series. But yeah, Wacky Racers was not only a whole lot of fun. This series is bringing me back to my nostalgia, to my childhood. Something I just can't get away from when it comes to reading some of these books. But yeah, it almost made my most anticipated read. Let's move out from the Dynamite and cruise over to the IDW side and talk about TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Re-Evolution, issue number 5. This ends it on the volume of The Last Ronin, on the second volume side of this. That didn't come out very well. We have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Last Ronin, and here we are. We have Re-Evolution. This is issue number 5. We're finalizing everything. This new group is facing some serious issues. This is ultimately the last battle that we're going to get with April, Casey, Odin, Yi, Mio, and Uno. We're getting into this final battle that's setting up more than likely for future stuff for these turtles and for this group. I've really been enjoying this. This has been awesome. I really think that these new turtles have something that's really special and something different, which is obvious when you get to their special powers and when they've been able to show us in these few short issues so far. I look forward to the future storylines with these characters, not only so we can further explore these newfound powers and how they're navigating in their future, but how definitely we're going to see it touches back and pays homage to some of the original characters that these stories are more than likely going to touch on, but obviously going to go ahead and like I said before, pay homage to, but how they further tie in and give us some of these little philosophical storylines that they always seem to tie into these type of stories, which I also truly enjoy. So again, TMNT Re-Evolution issue number 5. That was another one that was difficult for me to not put on my blue light special, but just missed out. Let's move off from IDW and cruise over to Image, which they're going to go ahead and give us our final books. Starting off with Void Rivals, issue number 18. The only thing I can really say is Zerta, right? Do I really need to say more? I end up getting this, which was the I think it's a 1 in 25. How you doing, Jack? That I had to buy, and it just seemed cool, like a cool cover. I did get a cover A. I'm looking forward to go ahead and reading this thing, and yeah, Void Rivals. This is the last installment that we're going to get until New Comic Book Day, which go ahead and give us a relaunch of the Energon universe that we're going to go ahead and start reading from here again. If you recall, not too long ago that we had this Energon universe launch is on Free Comic Book Day, and it just sort of blew everybody's mind. We knew things were tying together. When we heard the announcements that Robert Kirkman ended up buying Hasbro franchise, we knew that we were going to end up getting some cool stuff, but I don't really believe that anybody knew exactly what we're going to get. And here we are sometime later, and back on Free Comic Book Day coming up, where we're going to end up getting this relaunch of this tie-in that we already know how this interlinks. We already know it's going to get deep. How these three are going to the inner workings, we don't quite know, but we're getting more and more introductions to stuff that not only brings characters of Europe into a timeline of the present, but it ties them into characters that we've never seen before in the case of, let's say, Void Rivals, but interacting with characters that we've never seen interact before in the case of G.I. Joe. Yeah, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and this whole Void Rivals thing, where it's ultimately going to end. I can't wait until we get to that. What do they refer to that? Or a black hole, you end at that point of no horizon and you end up at its singularity. Ha ha! I got there. We know that's where it's going. We know that's where it's going to be, and I can't wait to be there, and I can't wait to read to this point. We know we're going to get there fairly soon, and especially right after Free Comic Book Day, which is this weekend on May 3rd and 4th. I hope that you can get to your local comic book shop and support them on this most monumentous and because especially with the Diamond not being able to release all the books they want to, it's best that you can support your local comic shop as best as you can for these books and for the future of our industry. Thank you very much, and let's move out from Void Rivals to talk about Seasons, issue number 4. Summer is in danger, and being that she's in her own little world doing her own little thing with all her paintings, she doesn't get it. We do know now that spring does find clues to autumn, but we're only going to see that in this issue. So we're still missing everybody. We're still trying to piece it together. There's a whole lot to the story, and I don't think we're really going to start unfolding a lot until almost a year down the road. This has been another awesome story coming out from Rick Remender. He's doing a wonderful job in this series. He's introducing these characters in a wonderful way. It's a very interesting, somewhat kind of creepy, and very, very just, I don't know. We're understanding the integralness between the characters, but we're seeing the lack of because of the further development we've yet to get is just now coming into its fruition. So I can't wait to get to issue 4 because I know how this building has come along is really at my pace and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to future issues and getting deep into this season's book. Moving out from another wonderful Remender book and cruising over to an awesome Tony Fleeks book, Feral. This has been one of my most, I think it's been on my Blu-ray special at least twice, maybe 3 times, but it's been one of my most favorite ongoing series coming out of Image. And definitely, I mean, Tony Fleeks with me can almost do no wrong. There's only a few times with I really either didn't understand what he was reading or it's something of not my taste. Outside of that, I tend to buy almost everything that's out there of his, and I can't get enough. In the case of Feral, issue number 12 coming out tomorrow on 4/30/2025, it's actually the same circumstance. I read issue number 11, seeing what's going on with these characters, these cats, and how already they're beaten and battered. I mean, Elsie, Lord, Gigi have got like this mini pack going on, and like I said, they're just beaten up. And maybe finally they caught a break at this pet shelter thing. One can only hope. And we all know that there's always some type of danger looming. So I'm hoping that at some point these guys can catch a break just to, if nothing else, heal themselves, get something to eat, get a little bit of rest, and just stop yanking on my damn emotional chain. Because I really thoroughly have been enjoying this series so much. I just can't get enough. But Pharaoh, issue number 12 coming out on 4/30/2025. To you and me, moving out from Pharaoh, issue number 12. That's right, you guessed it. This week's Blue Light Special. And that is, well, Grommets, issue number 7. Wasn't even supposed to buy this book. Oh, I didn't even have a backlight on. Duh. Yeah, I initially wasn't going to buy this book. I ended up talking to people. They talked to me about what the book was about. I was telling them about how that was much of my own upbringing. I mean, the difference between San Francisco and LA at the same time was relatively negligible in the sense of how things were transpiring. And when it came into the skateboard world, I mean, many of the individuals that we herald to be some of the greatest skaters of all time of that era definitely came from this LA area. And yeah, once I ended up finding out by issue number 2 what was going on, I knew that Rick was going to end up being at a signing event. So I got what I could, ended up reading this book, and instantly fell in love. Issue number 7 is now probably one of my most anticipated reads for a while, being that it's been on hold, I think, about 3 weeks, maybe 2. It missed its original release date, and it's just so much, like I said, just almost as if it's narrating aspects of my childhood at times that after I got into issue number 2, there was no way that I was ever going to miss any issue after. So here we are with issue number 7 coming out on 4/30/2025. And here we are with my Blue Light Special with Bean. And hey, everyone that decided to cruise on through on the live, Jag, Christina, I greatly appreciate you. And to those that decided to cruise in on the rewind, thank you very much for deciding that you want to go ahead and participate on just viewing this. And if you really thoroughly enjoyed it, then please hit that thumbs up and possibly consider subscribing. I appreciate that. And you too. And that's it for me. Entropy. You stay well.